So there is a 61.9% chance that the Federal Reserve is going to announce a rate hike in the month of June. What's going on, guys? It's Ricky with Techman Solutions. Don't take my word for it. Let's go ahead and just jump right into this. It looks like on June 14th is the next FOMC meeting. This is when the Federal Reserve comes together and announces their next rate hike, their rate pause, or their rate cut, right? This is when the Federal Reserve will have to announce, are we going to pivot? Are we going to continue the fight against inflation? Or are we just going to pause, right? Based off of this Fed rate monitor tool, there is a 61.9% chance that we continue to raise rates at least a quarter of a basis point in the month of June, right? There is a 38.1% chance that we do not announce a rate hike and just create a rate pause. This is what is being factored into the market today. Obviously, over the weekend, the White House and GOP announcing that they agreed on a deal. Now it's, I think it gets voted on tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, and then it has to get passed through Senate, right? So hopefully all goes well, because the deadline, according to what is currently being set in place, is June 5th. So June 5th is our default. And if not enough people vote for this bill or this agreement to pass, to raise this debt ceiling based off of the specific request from both the Republicans and the Democrats, then we go back to square one. And it's going to be very interesting to see how the market reacts to this. This is why I think right now the market's a little wishy-washy, not just because I think some of it is already factored in, but also because of the uncertainty if they're actually going to agree to the terms on this agreement. So very excited to follow up, but I wanted to make sure that ahead of time you guys understood this market expectation. If this is not something that you guys have on your watch, again, this is a free tool. You can literally Google search it, Fed Rate Monitor tool, and it pretty much just gives an expectation. It's not guaranteed, but just an expectation on specific probabilities if we're going to announce a rate hike and or stay the same at the 5 to 5.25%. So again, 38.1% that we stay the same, or a 61.9% chance that we actually announce the rate hike. This doesn't really surprise me, because if you guys remember when Jerome Powell spoke last, one of the things that he said is that the stock market could be factoring in one thing, but the Federal Reserve, can have something completely different in mind, right? He seemed very hawkish in the way that he spoke when he was he was with Bernanke as well, and he was speaking to during an economic conference. And the really interesting thing about that is that that was the first time I ever heard him say that his view and the Federal Reserve's view is often different than what the stock market likes to factor in right away. And I found that to be pretty interesting. The market really didn't react to it, but it looks like, based off of that Fed monitor tool, the Fed rate monitor tool, this almost agrees with that it looks like we are most likely going to continue with these rate hikes. And as we get closer to this, it wouldn't really surprise me if the market begins to sell off, because originally the market was factoring in that the Federal Reserve was going to pause, right? And or cut back on rate hikes. And Jerome Powell nearly almost laughed at the idea of rate cuts, because we're nowhere close to where we want to be, is what he specifically said. So if you guys didn't watch his previous speech, I'd encourage you to watch it. It's always very interesting to hear what he has to say when he talks about the stock market, because in my opinion, this is just my opinion, but I think that when Jerome Powell speaks and when he gives his specific perspectives or ideas, that almost has more of an influence, in my opinion, than when Biden says anything. And Biden's the president, right? But obviously, Jerome Powell's the head of the Federal Reserve, and that's just where a really big focus is right now, because with this fight against inflation and, of course, monetary policy and stuff like that. So very excited to follow up as of right now. Market's been kind of sideways. We're kind of testing support here right around 350, and we're also still getting rejected as of right now by this moving average. So we'll see if we actually can hold above this EMA and then break above the moving average. But if not, if it breaks below this EMA, it's not going to surprise me if it just continues to teeter-totter and hold above that 350 range. We haven't been able to break below it. It's just crazy to see that it was so bullish pre-market, and then right when the market opens, it just begins to tank and aggressively sell off, and then now we're just trading sideways. A pretty boring day. I think the market's kind of just waiting for them to follow up tomorrow and to see what is passed based off of this US debt deal. So I'll make sure that I keep you guys up to date. If you have any questions whatsoever, feel free to send me a direct message via Discord or via Instagram, and that's all linked in the description down below. I do want to let you guys know I will be going live today to announce our Infinity G35 giveaway winner, and I will be going live on Instagram. So if you guys don't follow me, that's that third link in the description down below. Other than that, right, friendly reminder, I do trade live every morning with one team and one team only, and that is our Learn Plan Profit team. It's a one-time payment, lifetime access. You get to watch me trade live every day. You see my entries, my exits, but most importantly, you hear my thought process. And right now we're doing our biggest ever, and it won't get better than this. This is 20,000 entries for our GTR or 50K cash giveaway, which ends in 5 days. So again, if you guys haven't entered, but you've been interested in being able to watch me trade live every day, second link in the description down below. Biggest discount, one-time payment, lifetime access, and 20,000 automatic entries for the GTR giveaway. If you have any questions about that, feel free to direct message me down below. I appreciate your time. Like always, let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take it easy, team.